Someone hacked my death date, and now I can't die even though my body is rotting. My life clock was supposed to expire at 23:59 last night, and I was ready for it. I'd said my goodbyes, made my peace. But at midnight, instead of dying, the timer glitched and jumped to the year 2125. And now, I'm trapped in a corpse that won't stop decaying while the system refuses to let me go, because according to my digital life record, I have 100 years left to live. Let me explain how we got here. In 2087, the government mandated life clocks for every citizen. Biometric implants that monitor your health and calculate your exact death date down to the second. When your clock hits 0, you just stop. Your heart gives out. Your brain shuts down. Clean, painless. Everyone knows exactly when it's coming. I was diagnosed with terminal organ failure 6 months ago. My life clock updated, exactly 183 days left. I spent those months preparing, settling affairs, spending time with my wife, Elena, accepting the inevitable. Yesterday was my last day, and I watched the clock count down the final hours while Elena held my hand and we sat in silence waiting for midnight. 23:59:58. 23:59:59. 0:00:00:0. And then, nothing happened. The clock didn't stop. My heart kept beating. But instead of reaching 0, the display glitched and the numbers scrambled and reset to show a new death date. December 31st, 2125. Exactly 100 years in the future. Elena screamed, the medical team rushed in, and I just sat there, staring at my wrist while my body started shutting down anyway, because the disease doesn't care what the clock says. Within an hour, my temperature dropped, my skin turned gray, my organs started failing one by one, but I stayed conscious and aware, and trapped inside a body that was dying but couldn't finish the job. The government declared me a Code 7 anomaly and refused to authorize my termination. According to the system, I'm alive with a valid life clock showing decades remaining, which means legally they can't euthanize me or allow burial. So they transferred me to a medical containment facility, where I've spent the last 3 days rotting while doctors argue about what to do. My body is cold and decomposing. I can feel my tissues breaking down. I'm in constant agony that the painkillers barely touch. But my consciousness stays locked inside because the life clock override prevents natural death. Elena visits every day and cries when she sees what I'm becoming. And I want to tell her to let me go, but I can't speak anymore because my vocal cords are deteriorating. So I did the only thing I could do and hacked into the facility's network to trace the source of the glitch. It took me 2 days of working through the pain to follow the digital trail, and I found something that shouldn't exist. An unauthorized modification to my life clock's core code, executed from an external location at exactly 23:59:57 on my death date. Someone deliberately overrode my clock 3 seconds before it hit 0 and reset the timer to trap me in this state. I tracked the source code to an abandoned cybersurgeon's laboratory on the edge of the city, a place that's been offline for 5 years since the government shut down unauthorized body modifications. And tonight, I'm going to find out who did this to me. I can't walk anymore, so I remotely accessed the facility's service drone and piloted it to the laboratory address. When it broke through the sealed door, I found a workspace frozen in time, equipment covered in dust, files scattered everywhere. In the center of the room was a computer still running on backup power, with a video file queued up labeled "For Marcus Ween Weensfield's That MP4." I played it, and Elena's face appeared on the screen, but younger, from 5 years ago, and she was crying. She said, "Marcus, if you're watching this, it means the program worked and you're still here. And I'm so sorry, but I couldn't let you go." And then she told me the truth I'd been too broken to remember. I died 5 years ago in an accident. My original body is gone. What I think is me is a consciousness backup that she illegally installed in a cloned body using black market cyber surgery. She'd backed up my consciousness months before the accident as part of a routine medical scan, and when I died, she used that data to recreate me in a lab-grown clone. The terminal diagnosis was fabricated. The life clock counting down was her way of giving me a false sense of completion before she revealed the truth. But at the last second, she couldn't go through with it and installed a virus to trap me in the clone forever. She said, "I know you're suffering. I know this body is failing, but I needed more time with you, even if it's just your ghost. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I can't be alone." The video ended, and I sat there in that abandoned lab, understanding that I've been dead for 5 years, and everything I remember about the last 6 months is a constructed narrative Elena created to ease her grief. The hospital, the containment facility, Elena's visits, none of it is real. The virus has been feeding me false sensory data while my consciousness rots alone in this clone somewhere. And then I found the override switch on the computer labeled restore_omoriginaldeathdate.exe. If I execute it, my life clock resets to 0. The clone shuts down. My consciousness disperses. And I finally get to actually die the way I was supposed to 5 years ago. But Elena programmed this system because she loves me so much she'd rather keep my ghost suffering in a decaying body than face reality. And if I delete myself, I erase the last piece of me she has left. Part of me wants to stay for her, to keep suffering just so she doesn't have to face the truth that I'm gone. But I've been dead for 5 years, and she's been talking to a corpse. I'm looking at the override switch right now, and my hand is hovering over the execute button, while the drone's camera shows me my reflection in the dusty monitor, and I barely recognize what I've become. Tell me, if someone you loved trapped your consciousness in a rotting clone because they couldn't let you go, would you delete yourself to end the suffering? Or would you stay to preserve their memories, even if it meant eternal pain? Would you choose your own peace or their comfort? And does love justify keeping someone's ghost alive against their will? Tell me in the comments, because I'm about to press this button, and I still don't know if ending this nightmare is selfish or if staying is. And remember, some people love you so much, they'll never let you rest. For more impossible choices, subscribe to Echo Mira Studios. Before you find out, you've been dead all along.